My beloved child, I know my silence has been confusing you. I know you've been wondering if I've forgotten about you, if I'm no longer listening, if I've abandoned you in your time of need. But what you interpret as absence is actually my presence working in ways you cannot see. What feels like silence is actually my voice speaking in frequencies you're not yet able to hear. Trust my silence, I am working behind the scenes. I understand how difficult it is to trust when you cannot hear my voice clearly, when answers seem delayed, when heaven feels distant. You've been praying with passion, seeking with desperation, knocking with persistence, yet my response seems muted. But my silence is not indifference, it's intentional. My quietness is not neglect, it's necessary. My apparent distance is not abandonment, it's careful orchestration. Today, I want to teach you the sacred art of trusting my silence. I want to show you that some of my greatest works happen in the quiet seasons, some of my most profound miracles occur in the stillness, and some of my deepest expressions of love are communicated without words. Human beings naturally equate silence with absence, quietness with inactivity, and stillness with disinterest. In your world, silence often means someone has stopped caring, stopped listening, or stopped being present. But my silence operates by completely different principles than human silence. When humans are silent, it's often because they don't know what to say, don't care enough to respond, or are withholding communication for negative reasons. But when I am silent, it's because I know exactly what needs to happen and I'm orchestrating it with perfect precision. My silence is not confusion, it's clarity. My quietness is not indecision, it's determined action. You've been interpreting my silence through the lens of human behavior, assuming that lack of audible communication means lack of care or involvement. But I am not human, and my ways of communication extend far beyond the audible realm. I speak through circumstances, through peace in your heart, through doors opening and closing, through the counsel of wise people, through your growing character, and through countless other means you're learning to recognize. My silence doesn't mean I've stopped working. It means I'm working in ways that require your faith rather than your sight, your trust rather than your understanding, your patience rather than your panic. Some works can only be accomplished in the quiet. Some miracles can only happen in the stillness. Some breakthroughs can only come through seasons of apparent silence. The misunderstanding of my silence has caused you unnecessary anxiety, doubt, and fear. You've wondered if you did something wrong, if your prayers aren't reaching me, if I've moved on to help someone else. But none of these fears are based in truth. My silence is not punishment, it's process. My quietness is not rejection, it's refinement. My silence serves multiple purposes in your spiritual development and in the accomplishment of my plans for your life. Understanding these purposes will help you trust the process rather than fighting against it. First, my silence develops your faith. When you can hear my voice clearly and see my hand moving obviously, faith is not required, only acknowledgement. But when you must trust me without seeing, believe me without hearing, and follow me without clear direction, your faith muscles are strengthened and your spiritual maturity is developed. Second, my silence creates space for you to examine your own heart and motives. In the noise and busyness of constant communication and activity, it's easy to avoid dealing with deeper issues in your soul. But in the silence, you're forced to face yourself, to deal with fears you've been avoiding, to address character issues you've been postponing, to heal from wounds you've been ignoring. Third, my silence prepares you for greater responsibility and blessing. Just as a student must learn to work independently before advancing to higher levels of education, you must learn to trust me in the silence before I can entrust you with greater assignments and anointing. The silence is preparation for promotion. Fourth, my silence protects you from receiving things before you're ready for them. Sometimes my apparent delay is actually perfect timing, preventing you from getting what you want before you can handle it wisely. The silence protects you from blessings that would become burdens if received prematurely. Fifth, my silence deepens your dependence on me rather than on my gifts or answers. When I'm constantly responding immediately to every request, you can become dependent on my responses rather than on my presence. The silence teaches you to find satisfaction in relationship with me rather than just in what I can do for you. While you're experiencing my silence, while you're wondering if I'm still active in your situation, while you're questioning whether I'm still working on your behalf, incredible things are happening that you cannot see. The spiritual realm is buzzing with activity orchestrated by my hand. In the silence, I'm moving people into position for your breakthrough. I'm softening hearts that need to be tender toward you. I'm opening minds that need to be receptive to my plans. I'm arranging circumstances that will create the perfect conditions for my purposes to be fulfilled in your life. In the silence, I'm preparing resources for your future. I'm accumulating provisions that will meet needs you haven't even identified yet. I'm storing up blessings that will be released at exactly the right moment. I'm organizing supplies that will be delivered when you need them most. In the silence, I'm developing character in you that will be essential for your destiny. I'm building patience that will serve you in leadership. I'm cultivating trust that will sustain you through future challenges. I'm strengthening faith that will enable you to accomplish impossible things. In the silence, I'm coordinating timing across multiple lives and situations. Your breakthrough is connected to other people's breakthroughs. Your provision is linked to other people's obedience. Your miracle is part of a larger tapestry that includes many threads that must be woven together at precisely the right moment. In the silence, I'm also dealing with opposition that you're not even aware of. I'm fighting battles in the spiritual realm that would overwhelm you if you could see them. I'm removing obstacles that would hinder your progress. I'm defeating enemies that are plotting against your success. It's crucial that you understand the difference between my silence and my absence. Silence refers to my communication style in a particular season, while absence would mean I'm not present at all. I am never absent from your life, even when I am silent in ways you can perceive. My presence with you is not dependent on your ability to hear my voice audibly. My involvement in your life is not contingent on your sensing my activity. My love for you is not conditional on your feeling my closeness. I am with you in the silence just as much as I am with you in seasons of clear communication. Think of a loving parent watching their child sleep. The parent is completely present, fully attentive, deeply caring, actively protective, but silent so as not to disturb the child's rest. The parent's silence is not absence. It's loving presence expressed in a different way. This is how I am with you in the silent seasons. My silence doesn't mean I've stopped listening to your prayers. Every word you speak to me is heard, considered, and responded to, even when you don't perceive my response immediately. My silence doesn't mean I've stopped caring about your struggles. I feel every pain you experience, and I'm actively working to bring resolution and healing. The enemy wants you to interpret my silence as absence so that you'll feel abandoned, discouraged, and tempted to give up on faith. But the truth is that my presence is constant, my care is unchanging, and my work on your behalf is relentless, regardless of how silent or distant I may seem in any particular moment. During seasons of apparent silence, I'm actually teaching you to hear my voice in new ways. You've been accustomed to hearing me in certain familiar ways, but I want to expand your spiritual hearing so you can perceive my communication across a broader spectrum. I speak through peace that settles in your heart when you're considering right decisions. I communicate through unrest that stirs in your spirit when you're moving in wrong directions. I guide through wisdom that emerges as you meditate on my word and seek counsel from mature believers. I speak through doors that open easily when you're moving in my will. I communicate through opportunities that align perfectly with your gifts and calling. I guide through connections with people who can help you fulfill your purpose. I speak through dreams that carry prophetic significance for your life. I communicate through repeated themes that emerge in different contexts. I guide through scriptures that leap off the page and speak directly to your situation. I speak through the circumstances I allow and the circumstances I prevent. I communicate through the timing of events in your life. I guide through the way things flow when you're in my will and the resistance you encounter when you're outside my will. Learning to hear me in these new ways requires spiritual maturity and sensitivity. It requires slowing down enough to notice subtleties. It requires developing discernment to distinguish between my voice and other influences. It requires patience to wait for confirmation rather than rushing ahead based on first impressions. Trusting my silence requires a different kind of faith than trusting my obvious activity. It's easy to have faith when you can see miracles happening, when prayers are being answered quickly, when my presence is palpable. But trusting me when you can't see, hear, or feel evidence of my activity, that requires mature faith. This kind of faith is not based on your circumstances but on my character. It's not dependent on your feelings but on my faithfulness. It's not contingent on your understanding but on my unchanging nature. This faith says, even though I cannot see what God is doing, I know He is working because of who He is. Faith in silence believes that I am good even when life feels difficult. It trusts that I am present even when I seem distant. It maintains confidence that I am working even when progress is invisible. This faith doesn't require proof. It creates proof by choosing to trust despite contrary evidence. Developing this kind of faith is like strengthening a muscle. It grows stronger through resistance training. The silence provides the resistance against which your faith muscles can grow stronger. Each day you choose to trust despite the silence. Each moment you believe despite the confusion. Each decision to hope despite the delay. These all contribute to building unshakable faith. This mature faith is preparation for greater assignments in my kingdom. I need people who can trust me in the darkness as much as in the light, who can believe in my goodness when circumstances suggest otherwise, who can maintain confidence in my plans when those plans are not visible or understandable. Paradoxically, some of the deepest intimacy with me is discovered not in seasons of dramatic spiritual experiences but in the quiet seasons of simple trust. When all the noise dies down, when spiritual excitement settles, when supernatural manifestations fade, what remains is the opportunity for pure, simple relationship. In the silence, you learn to love me for who I am rather than for what I do. You discover that your relationship with me doesn't depend on constant spiritual highs or miraculous interventions. You find that simple presence with me can be more satisfying than dramatic experiences. The silence strips away external spiritual supports and forces you to find me at the core of your being. Without audible words, visible signs, or sensational experiences, you must seek me heart to heart, spirit to spirit, in the quiet place where real intimacy is born. Many believers miss this deeper level of relationship because they're always seeking the next spiritual experience, the next prophetic word, the next miraculous intervention. But those who learn to find me in the silence discover a richness of relationship that doesn't depend on external spiritual phenomena. This intimacy in silence prepares you for seasons when you'll need to minister to others who are going through their own silent seasons. You'll be able to offer them hope and guidance based on your own experience of finding me in the quiet places. The silent seasons are intensive preparation seasons, even when they don't feel productive. While you're wondering why nothing seems to be happening, I'm actually preparing you for everything that's about to happen. In the silence, I'm developing character qualities that will be essential for your future. Patience is being built through waiting. Trust is being strengthened through uncertainty. Humility is being cultivated through dependence. Perseverance is being developed through endurance. In the silence, I'm also healing wounds that would hinder your effectiveness in future assignments. Old hurts are being resolved, past disappointments are being reframed, childhood wounds are being mended, relational patterns are being renewed. In the silence, I'm clarifying your calling and refining your understanding of my purposes for your life. Without the distraction of constant activity and immediate answers, you have space to examine your heart, evaluate your motives, and align your desires with my will. In the silence, I'm building spiritual disciplines that will serve you throughout your life. You're learning to pray without immediate answers, to worship without emotional highs, to study my word without spectacular revelations, to serve without recognition. The preparation happening in silence is often more valuable than the dramatic breakthroughs that capture attention. The character developed in quiet seasons sustains you through busy seasons. The intimacy discovered in silence enriches all future spiritual experiences. My silence doesn't mean your breakthrough will never come. It means your breakthrough is being timed perfectly. I'm not delaying your answer. I'm timing it for maximum impact and blessing. I'm not withholding your miracle. I'm positioning it for greatest effectiveness. Perfect timing requires careful coordination of multiple factors that you cannot see or understand. Your breakthrough may be connected to someone else's obedience, someone else's healing, someone else's decision. I'm orchestrating all these variables to come together at precisely the right moment. Perfect timing also requires that you be fully prepared to receive and steward what I'm about to give you. The silence is part of that preparation. What you receive in the right season with proper preparation becomes a lasting blessing. What you receive at the wrong time or without adequate preparation can become a burden or even a curse. I know when you're ready for your breakthrough, and I know when circumstances are aligned for your success. I know when your character is mature enough to handle blessing without being corrupted by it. I know when your faith is strong enough to maintain breakthrough without being overwhelmed by it. The timing of your breakthrough is also connected to my glory being revealed through your situation. When breakthrough comes at the perfect moment, in the perfect way, under perfect circumstances, everyone involved knows that it was my hand and not human effort that brought it about. Trust my timing even when it doesn't match your timeline. Believe that my schedule is perfect even when your schedule feels disrupted. Accept that my when is better than your when because I can see the end from the beginning. The enemy works overtime during your silent seasons to convince you that my silence means something negative about you, about me, or about your future. He plants thoughts designed to make you doubt my love, question my faithfulness, and abandon your faith. He whispers that my silence means you've done something wrong, that you're being punished, that you've disappointed me somehow. But my silence is not punishment, it's process. It's not condemnation, it's cultivation. It's not rejection, it's preparation. He suggests that my silence means I've forgotten about you, that you're not important to me, that I'm too busy with other people's problems to care about yours. But my love for you is constant and unchanging. My attention to your life is complete and detailed. My care for your concerns is tender and thorough. He implies that my silence means your prayers aren't working, that your faith isn't strong enough, that you're not spiritual enough to hear from me. But my silence has nothing to do with your spiritual qualifications and everything to do with my perfect timing and wisdom. He insinuates that my silence means your situation is hopeless, that breakthrough will never come, that you should give up and accept defeat. But my silence often precedes my greatest interventions. The quieter it gets before the storm, the more powerful the breakthrough that follows. Don't let the enemy use my silence to discourage your faith. Instead, let my silence deepen your trust. Don't let quiet seasons make you question my love. Instead, let them strengthen your confidence in my character. Trusting my silence is not passive resignation. It's active faith that continues to hope, pray, and believe even when you cannot see or hear evidence of my activity. Here are practical ways to maintain trust during silent seasons. Continue to pray regularly, not because you're trying to get my attention, you already have it, but because prayer keeps your heart connected to mine. Share your concerns, express your frustrations, ask your questions. I want to hear from you even when my responses aren't immediately obvious. Study my word consistently, looking for promises that apply to your situation and character qualities I want to develop in you. My written word continues to speak even when my audible voice seems quiet. Find comfort, guidance, and hope in the scriptures. Surround yourself with faith-filled people who can encourage you to trust during difficult seasons. Don't isolate yourself when you're struggling to hear my voice. Seek wisdom from mature believers who have learned to trust my silence. Keep a journal of how I've been faithful in the past. When you're tempted to doubt my current activity, remind yourself of previous times when I came through for you, when I answered prayers, when I provided for your needs. Past faithfulness is evidence of future faithfulness. Look for my activity in small ways even when you can't see dramatic interventions. I'm always working even when that work is subtle. Notice open doors, divine connections, growing peace, increasing wisdom, strengthening faith. Those who learn to trust my silence receive rewards that those who only trust my obvious activity never experience. These rewards are worth the discomfort of the silent seasons. First, you develop unshakable faith that can withstand any storm. When your faith has been tested in silence and emerged stronger, you know it can handle whatever challenges come your way. This faith becomes a foundation that nothing can move. Second, you discover depths of my character that are only revealed in quiet seasons. My faithfulness is most evident when I'm faithful despite silence. My love is most profound when it's expressed through patient waiting rather than immediate gratification. Third, you become qualified to help others who are going through their own silent seasons. Your experience of trusting me in silence becomes a source of hope and guidance for others who are struggling to trust when they can't hear my voice clearly. Fourth, you develop patience and peace that enable you to enjoy life even when all your prayers haven't been answered yet. You learn to find joy in the journey rather than only in the destination. You discover contentment in process rather than only in completion. Fifth, when breakthrough finally comes, you appreciate it more deeply because you understand the preparation that was required. You steward your blessings more carefully because you know the value of what was developed in the waiting. Think of my silence like a conductor raising his baton before a symphony begins. The silence before the music is not emptiness. It's pregnant with possibility. It's the moment when all the musicians prepare to create something beautiful together. Your life is like a symphony, and every season has its place in the larger composition. The silent seasons are like the rests in music. They're not empty spaces but essential pauses that create rhythm, build tension, and prepare for the next beautiful movement. A symphony without rests would be chaotic noise. A life without silent seasons would be overwhelming activity without meaning or beauty. The silences in your life create space for you to appreciate the music when it comes, to prepare for the next movement, to develop skills that will be needed for the crescendo. I am conducting the symphony of your life with perfect timing and artistic beauty. Every pause serves a purpose. Every silence has meaning. Every quiet season is preparation for the next movement of divine activity. Trust the conductor. Trust the timing. Trust the silence. The music that's coming will be worth every quiet moment you've endured. The breakthrough that's being prepared will exceed your expectations because it's being crafted with divine precision during this season of apparent silence. Instead of fighting against my silence, learn to embrace it. Instead of being frustrated by quiet seasons, learn to appreciate them. Instead of being anxious about delayed answers, learn to rest in perfect timing. Embracing silence doesn't mean giving up hope for breakthrough or becoming passive about your situation. It means trusting my process while continuing to hope for my promises. It means resting in my character while remaining active in faith. When you embrace my silence, you discover that it's actually full of my presence, rich with my activity, and pregnant with my purposes. What seemed like emptiness becomes fullness. What felt like abandonment becomes intimate presence. What appeared to be delay becomes perfect timing. Embracing silence also means embracing mystery. You don't have to understand everything I'm doing to trust that I'm doing something good. You don't have to see the whole picture to believe that I'm painting something beautiful. You don't have to comprehend my ways to have confidence in my love. This embrace of silence and mystery actually increases your capacity for a relationship with me. When you can love me without needing to understand me completely, when you can trust me without needing to see everything I'm doing, when you can rest in me without needing constant reassurance, you discover the depths of divine relationship. My beloved child, I want you to know that my silence is not the absence of my voice. It's my voice speaking in ways you're learning to hear. In the quiet, I'm speaking to your heart. In the stillness, I'm communicating to your spirit. In the pause, I'm revealing myself to your soul. Your prayers are heard. Your concerns are known. Your needs are seen. Your future is secure. None of this changes during seasons when my communication seems muted. My care for you is constant. My work on your behalf is continuous. And my love for you is unchanging. Trust my silence because it's preparation for my symphony. Trust my quietness because it's orchestration for my miracle. Trust my apparent distance because it's positioning for my perfect timing. I have not forgotten you. I have not abandoned you. I have not stopped working in your situation. My silence is not neglect. It's intentional love working in ways that require your faith rather than your sight. Soon the silence will give way to breakthrough. The quiet will explode into praise. The stillness will burst into movement. The preparation will manifest into provision. The waiting will transform into receiving. But until that moment comes, trust my silence. Find me in the quiet. Hear my voice in the stillness. Know my presence in the pause. I am with you in the silence, working behind the scenes, preparing your breakthrough, orchestrating your miracle. Trust me. Trust my timing. Trust my silence.